Hello everyone and welcome to this video guide on how to XYZ calibrate your robot. My name is Anna and I will show you how. So we have two pipette modules and you can calibrate them each individually with and without tips. In order to save time, you can use the calibration without tips and transfer it to with tips. Before you do the calibration, make sure your pipette modules are aligned. So when we do the calibration, we will be using this calibration tool. When calibrating, we need a height difference of at least 35 millimeters. So without the tips, we will be using this tall part here, 100 millimeter, and we will be using this part in the middle here, which is 60 millimeter. For without tips, we will use the 100 and the 14 millimeters. So on this component, we also have these three different columns. So depending on the size of your cone, you can use the big holes right here or the medium holes. With tips, you can use the very small holes. Just be aware that column 0 will be the very small ones, and column 1 will be the ones in the middle, and column 2 will be these big ones here. We start off by calibrating the left pipette module, pipette 0. We place the calibration tool in the top left corner and then we go to the software. Before running the robot, remember to put in the override so you can run it with an open lid. You need to be logged in on the admin account in order to do the calibration. From here you choose Setup, XYZ calibration, and then you connect and home. When the robot is done homing, you select your calibration component height. In the drop-down menu, you select the position, and remember in load level control, you start off the count with 0. So the top left corner is position 0. We will be placing it in row 0, and in this case, as it is a small column, we will position it in column 1. We will use the left pipette, so that's pipette 0, and we'll do it without tips. When you're ready, you press go. The pipette module will place itself approximately 5 millimeters above the component. The next step here is to adjust it accordingly to the holes in the calibration tool. You can use the navigation controls to position the tip cone on the target position. You can adjust the syringe down 1 millimeter at a time until it is aligned with the surface of the target. So just at the same level, not into the well. You can use a piece of paper to adjust this. Once you're happy with your adjustment in the Z axis, you need to check that the Y and X axis are aligned as well. If not, you can adjust it on the graphs here or use the shortcuts on the top left corner. Once you're happy with your adjustments, you press Add Calibration Point. In order to be able to move the calibration tool, raise the pipette module 50 millimeter. Then you place the calibration component in a different position. This time you will do it in position 3, which is the top right corner. Instead of aiming for the 60 millimeter, we will use the 100 millimeter. So in the software, you choose 100 millimeter calibration component in position 3. Row 0, column 1 with pipette 0. Once you're ready, you press go. Like before, you adjust the syringe down until it is aligned with the surface of the target and not into the well. Once it is aligned, use a piece of paper between the well and the tip cone to make sure that it's not touching the well. Like before, when you are happy with your alignment, add calibration point. In order to be able to move the calibration tool, raise the pipette module 50 millimeter. Now you place the calibration component in position 8, which is the lower left corner. Here we will aim for the 100 millimeter calibration component as well, as it is important that the heights are the same diagonally. When you have placed the calibration component in position 8, you select go to 100 millimeter in position 8, row 0, column 1 with pipette 0 and without tips. And now you press go. Now you aim for your target point on this level just like before. Once you are happy, add the calibration point and go to the last point, which is position 11 with the 60 millimeters. So like before, raise it 50 millimeters and place the calibration component in position 11, which is the lower right corner. Now you select 60 millimeter calibration component in your drop-down menu in position 11, row 0, column 1 with pipette 0 without tips. And then you press go. Just like the 3 other positions, you use the navigation controls to position the tip cone on the target position. In this case, you lower it approximately 5 millimeter. If it needs to be adjusted on the X and Y axis, you need to do that as well. Once you're happy with the target position, you add the calibration point, and now you have 4 calibration points in each of the 4 corners. You can now press calibrate and it will give you a pop-up that says calibrated successfully. You can do the exact same thing for the right pipette module in order to get that calibrated as well. You can also use it with tips. If you want to save time, you can go into advanced settings at the bottom and transfer the calibration without tips. That's it. Now you know how to XYZ calibrate your robot. It is now ready to be used.